All right, so today we're talking about Zero to CIP Hero, really talking about CIP's capital improvement plans. And so I'm going to be talking about how we can use Esri's capital project planning solution to quickly take you from zero to a bunch of maps and apps and layers that are pre-configured to help you with your project planning. So I'm going to start with talking about what Esri ArcGIS solutions are. So my colleague Daniel, he gave a webinar last month that went into a lot more of the background of what solutions are. So I'm going to go over the definition of this really quickly and then hop into the website. So a solution is an industry-specific configuration for ArcGIS. What that means is it gets you set up with web maps, apps, dashboards, and layers that can help you to organize your existing data if you have any, or it allows you to collect new data. So I'll go into the link here. If you just Google ArcGIS solutions, you come to this page. And Esri has a lot. They have right now 146. So there's likely something in here that you can use if you're looking for a solution to get yourself off the ground. Doesn't have to be related to state and local government. They have a lot of industries over here on the side, so you can kind of browse this way, or you can search in the search bar for what you're looking for. So today, like I said, we're talking about capital project planning. That's the name of the solution. And that is going to be located in the state and local government industry in the public works sector within there. And just within public works, we have 53 solutions that are tagged to be public works. So there is a lot in here. I am going to scroll down to the capital project planning solution that we're focusing on today. All of these solutions, when you click on them, they give you a nice overview of what the solution provides. They also tell you what it's available for. So this solution is available for ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise. Also down here at the bottom, they suggest some similar solutions so that if maybe you're reading through a new solution, you're trying to familiarize yourself with it, and it's not quite what you're looking for, you could browse these other solutions, and maybe that's kind of more what you're looking for, because like I said, they are pretty similar to the one that you already clicked on. So before I go ahead and deploy this, I'll hop back to my slides here. And I'll talk a little bit more broadly about what capital project planning is and what we're trying to accomplish by using this solution. So a capital improvement plan is a tool to help government entities manage the location, the funding, and the timing of capital projects, and really help prioritize projects based on those criteria. And the solution itself breaks down capital projects into water, sewer, stormwater, transportation, parks, facilities, and there's also an other category if you want to get outside of these specific categories. So helping you to prioritize and categorize all of your different projects. That's what the solution is going to do. Specifically, some of the benefits of this solution is it's going to deploy a bunch of maps. So you have map-based inventory of your capital projects and your right-of-way activity. So you can go and view like you would if you opened up Google Maps. You can see where your projects are. It also allows for easy data management and access for your engineering staff or your public works staff. It helps you to monitor your schedule, your cost, and your quality of projects. And very importantly, it lets you coordinate with external agencies and engage the public. So sharing is a big part of this solution, and who you share with and what permissions you give them. So what does the solution actually look like? So I'm going to jump into an example that was done by the city of Glendale, Arizona. And this is going to show a dashboard that the city set up. It's a public dashboard. So everything in here is really interactive, but it's not editable because it's a public viewer. So what's really nice about this dashboard is it gives you a nice quick layout that shows the city has 46 active projects. It gives you some good titles of what those projects are. We have an interactive map that will change the other widgets in this dashboard so that as you scroll in, we're seeing fewer projects. We have 6 active projects in this view. If I was to click on one of these, you can click in the map or you can click on the active projects over here. It should give you either in the pop-up or over here on the side. Whoop. It should pop up on the side over here and give you a description of what these projects are. So this specific one over here, we have the Buckeye Senior Center Kitchen Expansion. We get a lot of good information really quickly. So the year, the cost, some contact information, what phase the project is in. So it's really great just to kind of get people engaged really quickly. Maybe somebody wants to use this nice search bar they have at the top and put in their address and see what projects are ongoing near them. Or maybe there's a project that seems like, you know, it's just been dragging on forever and they could click on it and be like, oh, actually, it's not projected to end until next spring, or it's projected to end next week, and that's great too. So it's good to get people involved, and then, you know, they have some understanding of what's going on in the city and how things are being planned. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into deploying this solution straight from Esri. So what I would do is I would just click deploy now, and this will automatically set up a bunch of maps and apps and dashboards and things like that onto my organization's ArcGIS online account. And it'll take probably less than 5 minutes. It's very quick, and you're given all of this stuff, which is a lot. And I'll admit, when I first opened this up, I was kind of confused about what everything was. It's kind of overwhelming. There's, in fact, 42 items in here of different web mapping applications, dashboards, web maps, feature layers. And so the way that I kind of broke this down into understanding exactly what was in here and how everything feeds together is I thought that I would start small. So I'm going to start by looking at the layers that this solution deploys. So I'm going to click over here on the left so that I just filter by my layers. And now we're down to 14 items, which is still a lot, but more manageable. And if you're familiar with ArcGIS Online, this is going to be a little bit of a review. But if you're not, I'll explain kind of what everything in here is. So you'll notice for the feature or for the item type, we have feature layer hosted and feature layer hosted view. So feature layer hosted is going to be your authoritative data, and feature layer hosted views, those are all kind of just different views or different ways to look at the same data. So what that means is really you have 3 data sets in this solution that fill up the rest of the solution. So all of your apps and maps are going to come from data that's just within these 3 hosted feature layers. So I'll jump in and tell you kind of what those are. So we have infrastructure projects, number 1. And this is going to be your city's own projects that you're managing, that your staff is working on. And within this feature layer, you can set up polygons, kind of like we were viewing in this dashboard here, create polygons, and then you'll also fill in all of this information. So your cost, your year, estimated start date, things like that. So that's your infrastructure projects, that's 1. 2, I'll skip around a little bit. We have external agency projects. And this is going to be a very similar data set, but it's just going to be for projects that your city is not managing. So maybe it's a utility company or somebody like that who is working in your city, but not being managed by your staff. And lastly, we have pavement moratoriums. And these are going to be restrictions on newly paved areas, basically areas you want to avoid if you're trying to create new projects because it's restricted. So if you cut into it, you might have to pay a larger permit or you might not be able to at all. And that's really it. So those are the building blocks for the entire solution. So taking a little step out from there, we've talked about our hosted feature layers, and I'll explain a little bit more what these hosted view feature layers are. So these are really important. Basically, the way I like to think about hosted view feature layers is it's a window to view your authoritative hosted feature layers. And what I mean by that is if you imagine, let's talk about this one here is called Infrastructure Projects Park Project Plans. So what this feature layer is going to show is it's going to show your infrastructure projects authoritative data. And out of that, any project that is tagged as a park project will be in here. And you can say, I want all of my public works staff who just deals with parks to be invited to see this data and to be able to edit this data. And so that's basically what a view is. So we can set this one up so parks people can come and view and edit this. We could set up the external agency hosted view to be public. Whoops. We can set that up to be public so that anybody can come in and view this data, not edit, but just view. And these already come pre-configured so that those are the settings that are kind of, if I was to go back and click on it and go to the settings, they would be set up so that they're view only or they're editable depending on what you want to do with it. So that's kind of how it comes right out of the box. All of that is configurable for how you want it. So if you wanted to switch something up, make something viewable only, or make something editable, that's super easy to do. And so we've talked about all of our different types of feature layers here. If you were, this is where you would come if you were the person deploying the solution. So if you're maybe a project or a city planner that knows GIS, or if you're the GIS analyst for a city, you would come in and you would populate these data sets, or you can have, your external agencies give you the data to populate these data sets. And then once all of this is set up, if I go back to where is it, the park project plans. So there is a hosted view feature layer for your park project plans. This feeds into a map called park project plans that also has the same settings. So just your parks people can come and edit this data. And there's also an app that is built in called Park Project Plans. And this is what you would actually send to your parks team to go and edit data. And so for every single category that I was talking about before, something similar exists. So there's stormwater, there's facility, sewer, water. It's all broken up like that. So to kind of explain more of what I'm talking about rather than just talk about it, I will show you what the Park Project Plans web mapping application looks like. And I have gone ahead and made some fake data, which I've placed in Lake Tahoe, California, because even though the weather is very nice here right now in Chicago, somehow I'm missing the winter. And this is my favorite ski town. But anyways, so this is a map of all fake data that I have just populated. So this is the parks map. The parks are in blue, that we have projects going on. We have pavement moratoriums in orange, and we have external agency projects in green. So those are kind of areas that you want to avoid as you're doing your capital planning. So if I was a park staff and wanted to come in and edit some data, I could click on a project. It highlights it over here. And on the right panel, it pulls up all of the attributes associated with this project. So we have a project name, it's a beach restoration project. We have the fiscal year that it's supposed to be funded through. We have a funding source, a start date, an estimated cost, and a contact person. And so that is all in here. I could edit it as I wanted and save it here. Additionally, I could go in and I could add a new project. So let's pretend we're going to add a new park right by the airport. Why not? And I would go in and I would just start adding, maybe this is project number 9. I'll call this airport park, and it's going to cost, I don't know, $100,000. Let's go crazy. You can pick your start date, start tomorrow, end in a year. You know, all of that is obviously very fictitious, but that is basically how you would go in and you would create this data. Now, if I go ahead and save this, even though it's not all populated, that's okay. We can fix that later. It pops in, and this data is now reflected back into that authoritative data. So it's all one, it's all kind of one synced up data set. So you're not creating duplicates anywhere. You're just creating new features within that authoritative data set. All right. So I'm going to hop back into talking a little bit more broadly about the apps that this solution deploys. So I talked kind of specifically in my example as I was building up from the layers to the applications for your public works staff. Those are most of the web mapping applications. But what I was showing before with the city of Glendale, this is actually a dashboard. So it's a little bit different and it shows everything all in one spot. And Esri has nicely provided an out-of-the-box dashboard. I'm going to click on this project review dashboard first. And all I have done is I've gone in and I've added data. I haven't updated this application in any way. So right out of the box, we get this nice dashboard that pops in with a map of our city. We've got all of our active projects going on. So I think there was a beach restoration up here, and that one, maybe I put in as it's starting next year. So it's not an active project, so it's not popping in automatically. So these are our active projects. We have a total cost, nice and big at the bottom here, some nice bar charts down at the bottom as well. And so this dashboard is made for your project review staff. So it does have editing capabilities, which is really nice. If I click on review now in this high school baseball fields upgrade, it takes me to another page that allows you to edit basically everything in one spot. So you'll have a list of all of your ongoing projects. You can click this little pencil down here at the bottom. Maybe you need to update. We have, it's now board authorized, change the funding status or the design phase, and you can save that in here. And again, it's reflected back into the authoritative data sets. So it's a really nice tool to be able to give to your city planner who maybe doesn't know GIS that well, and they can go in and it's very user-friendly to update projects this way. So that is the capital project review dashboard. I'm going to go back to my contents again real quick to show you something else. And I'll filter by just the apps again. So I showed you this capital project review dashboard over here. Closer towards the bottom, we have a capital improvement plan and a mobile plan. These two are the same thing, just configured differently for a phone versus a computer. And this is basically going to be the public version. So where I showed you before on the project review, so for your internal staff, this has the review now button. The public version would be very similar, but wouldn't have that review now. It would just kind of give the information of what's going on in your city and not make it editable, but still allowing the public to be easily engaged with the capital planning. All right. So that is basically it. I know I have skimmed over some of the things that have popped up as I've scrolled through this solution, but that is really the building blocks of it and the final kind of like the biggest apps and dashboards that you'll get at the end of this, of building out this solution. All right, so just a quick summary of the solution is that it is a template that is easy to deploy and sustain. And the key thing is that you can engage your team, your partners, and the community. I do have a link to an Esri story map in here that I'll share really quickly as well. That goes into a bit more information than I've gone into today. Lets you browse at your own pace. It's called Getting to Know the Capital Project Solutions. And it gives you an overview of the capital project planning solution, which is the one I talked about today. It also gives an overview of similar solutions, which are participatory budgeting and capital project tracking. And I think this story map is very well done. As you scroll through, you can select the different solutions. You can kind of jump down to what you want to look at. And very nicely, they also have screenshots of what things will look like. And they have a try it live button, which gives you access to another kind of like fake data set where you can go in and you can practice and see how easy it is to use. So create a facility plan, kind of like I was doing before, you can practice and add your own information, kind of showing you how it works before you commit to deploying your own solution. All right, and of course, CloudPoint is always here to help as well. We have really dove into this specific solution, but I know many of my colleagues have also dove into some of the other solutions and deployed those for our customers. And so we would love to help you out if you have questions. And with that, it leads well into the question slide. So I will open it back up to questions.
Thanks, Megan. Yeah, I do see a question right here. So in the project details, I think they're talking about the dashboard, the public-facing dashboard. Is there an ability to include an image in that area?
So let me see if I go to, so is this the one you said, the
Yeah,
public
I think that
dashboard?
right-hand side there. Yep.
Yes, so there is an ability to add a photo link. I clicked on one of these earlier and I think the link was broken, but maybe I'll get lucky. Oh, just reloaded. Try a different one. There is an ability to add a photo. Yeah, so this one, this specific example was broken, but you can add a link to a photo through here.